Hey, Mike with No Problems Gaming here. In today's video, we'll be doing a review on the SIWIQU Switch Dock S3, so let's get into it. All right, so now that we've got the dock all set up, let's jump in and show you how it works and cover some of my thoughts on it. So first thing, want to see how quickly it turns on, comes out of sleep mode, and so that actually popped right up, brought me into the screen here on the switch. And so I thought that was pretty cool that it does actually turn on quite quickly the second I come out of sleep mode. I've actually even found that with the first party switch docks, that doesn't really happen. I have to turn on my controller, oftentimes push several buttons for it to even register that it's connected, and then it will pop up on my bigger screens. And so to have this turn on right away is actually really cool. Now, one thing that I do like as well is the fact that it doesn't have sort of a faceplate in front of the switch. This is nice because you can either play it kind of at a tilted angle, so maybe you wanted to set it on a table and play it where it's not displaying to a big screen. You can do that, but also it makes it easy to set in smaller areas. So like you can see on this TV stand that I have, the regular switch dock just doesn't really work too well. You can't really remove the system easily, but with this one you actually can. And it also is a much wider base that supports the entire switch unit. Just by comparison, this is another switch dock that I've used in the past that I did enjoy, but you can see it's very small and a lot of times it really felt not sturdy enough to support the switch, and I always felt like it was gonna fall off or maybe even bend the USB-C port here. But you can see with this version, it fully supports the system and I felt like it's a lot more secure. And so I like that aspect of it. So now that we get in a little bit closer, we can see the back of the dock here. And so you can see it has a couple different USB ports, also an HDMI out port. There's also a button back here, and this will actually switch it from being in docked mode on the TV to playing on your unit. And so that button's pretty cool in the fact that it can switch right between being in docked mode and having it just play while sitting on the dock here. So again, as I mentioned, if you wanted to just use a controller and have it play this way, it's almost like a little screen stand. And so you don't even need to necessarily hook this up to a big screen to use this dock in a functional manner. Where again, you can't really do that with a first party switch dock because the entire screen is covered. So that's just another cool feature of this dock as well. And so as I mentioned too, it is a pretty quick transfer. You just simply would push the button on the back and then you can see now it's up on the big screen as well very quickly. All right, so one of the things I did want to showcase was the actual charging of the device and its ability to charge your switch. And so that is really going to be dependent on what type of charger you use. And so you can see right here, I'm sitting at 78%. It does show that it's actually charging and that it has the green icon here on the battery, meaning that it's supposedly charging. And now we're going to the back here to show you actually what's plugged in right now. So I have kind of a high speed, more powerful charger hooked up to the dock right now. So you can see it's hooked up there. When I first was using the dock, I was using kind of this standard cell phone charger with your typical cable, not necessarily the high speed cable. And that was enough to run the device, but it didn't actually charge the switch while it was attached. Now I've also tried it with kind of the first party switch charger. That did keep the unit charged and it did power the dock. So that kind of worked as normal. So if you already have one of these first party switch chargers, that's probably the way to go with this device. Another thing to note is that this dock does not come with a charger, so you'll need to be purchasing that separately unless you already have one on hand. But overall, I'm a pretty big fan of this dock. I would recommend it. I like it better than some of the other third-party docks that I've purchased in the past. I like the fact that it's easy to put the switch on and off of it, much easier than the traditional first-party switch dock It's also a little bit smaller profile, so I can actually have my Switch in these smaller shelves and be able to actually remove the Switch, where the first party dock really doesn't have that feature because it has that front faceplate blocking it. Again, also you can play it almost like a little tabletop holder for your Switch. So that's another cool element. If you're like me with one of the earlier models of the Switch, the kickstand isn't the greatest, and so this gives you a lot more support playing your system there as well. It has the standard ports on the back as well as an HDMI output. It's a lot easier to access those things as well in the back, which I like compared to the first party Switch dock that I have. So overall, if you want to check out a cool third party Switch dock that has some enhanced benefits compared to the first party Switch dock and probably a lower price point as well, I would definitely recommend it. And again, if you did want to pick up one of these docks, I'll have a link in the description below where you can do so. And if you order there, it can help support the channel at the same time. But let me know your thoughts. Have you tried any third-party docks like this before? Now that you've seen this one, are you gonna pick this up? Let me know in the comments below. Well, again, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button as it really helps out the channel. And if you did want to pick up a copy of this dock, I'll actually have a link in the description below. And if you do so, it helps support our channel as well. And another really cool way you can help support the channel is we actually partnered with the game store, Nutmeg Games. So if you like Pokemon cards, Magic cards, board games, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and more, you can actually head to nutmeggames.com/nerdproblemsgaming or use our promo code nerdproblemsgaming at checkout. You'll get 10% off your order and help support our channel at the same time. So if you want to get that great discount, be sure to head there as well. And if you like videos like this on video games, board games, and everything nerdy, check out one of our other videos here. And if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notifications to get the latest updates of new nerd videos we put out. But once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you more soon.